before this was the hardback version called Great Days. And what inspired me to write that, which was my 5th book, I wanted to write about some of the great days that are out there fishing. Instead of how to put a hook on and how to put a waggler float on, I just wanted to write about some of the great days I'd had without all the rigs and everything. The fun you can have out there fishing in different destinations. And I wrote that book called Great Days, and we did a 500 run, and that was a limited edition, and that sold. And a lot of people said, well, I want that book. So what I decided to do was make a softback version of it and add 3 chapters. Hence the reason it's called Great Days Extra. So there's 3 chapters. There's the carp chapter, there's the 75-pound carp, the 18-pound zander, and double-figured barbel off the middle 7. So that's what inspired me to write the books. It was almost, sort of an anti-rig book. It was all sort of rigs and how I caught them and whatever. I just wanted to get down that road of why do you go fishing? Out there in destinations, enjoying yourself with your mates, a few beers, all the fight, etc. So, if you're buying a book, How to Catch, you won't probably find that much in it, but I hope that when you read the book, you're going to have a bit of fun and know the reason why perhaps I go fishing. Yeah, I mean, some chapters, I think, depends on the time of year that you wrote it or the way you're feeling. I mean, some days writing's easy, some days writing's a little bit harder. But certainly the one I found easy to write was the eels, because, eels are an unknown thing. You can't go to a water like carp fishing and say there's a 72 in there. You can't say there's a 7-pounder or a 6-pounder left in there, especially if somebody's fished it for eels. So when I went to Docklow Pool, I'd heard rumours there were some big eels in there, and I'd had a couple of big eels, and then that one night that I write about, I had a 5-pound eel, a 6-pound eel, and a 7-pound eel. And as any eel angler would tell you, that just one of those fish is incredible, but to have 3 in one night, it was just out of this world. So to write about it was not only an ego trip, it was just absolutely fantastic to remember it. Because one of the nice things about writing a book like that is I was actually writing about the memories of what I'd actually done in fishing. And at the end of some of those chapters, when I put them on the computer, I felt really good with myself because I was reliving the day again. I had a back operation in 2004, and what had happened over the years, what with great whites and sort of tumbling around at football when I was younger, and then sort of playing big fish around the world of various species, especially sort of sea fishing, where it puts a lot of pressure on your back. When I went halibut fishing, that just about did the final one. It was a monstrous halibut. It was the record for the Queen Charlotte Isles there. It was 245 pound. I played it for probably half an hour. I brought it to the top about 4 times. It went down to the bottom with great pressure on a 50 pound class gear, and I really did feel my back burning after that fish. And when I came back, it was literally months after that, I knew that my back had finally give up the ghost. So although I've won a few fights with fish, I didn't win them all. The biggest fish in the book, weight-wise, is an estimated 1,800 pounds. Whether that was 1,600, whether it was 2,000, is irrelevant. It was a monster great white. It was one of my first great whites over 1,000 pounds, and that's what I'd gone to South Africa for. It meant a great deal to me when you consider that, and I'm not playing the violin, that I came from a council estate in Dudley and started fishing in a canal for stone loach, and then, there I am in sort of the late 90s, catching or hoping to catch 1,000 pound great white, and then eventually catching one, and then eventually catching the true monster. In my book there's photos, and if you look at the photo you can see I'm sort of 19 stone, 6'1" bloke, and you can see that I can fit into the mouth of this fish. And although I'm not saying it was a great capture, because anybody could catch it, you just throw a bait out to it and grabs it. I don't say in the book it was a great capture or a skillful capture. Some of my 2-pound roach would be, probably all of my 2-pound roach would be a lot more skillful. than that great white. But what it is the most impressive fish. And if you're into big fish, then it is the ultimate thing. You know, it doesn't matter if it's a tiger, a lion, an elephant, or what, this creature can eat it. You know, and there's me, I've caught it, it's on the side of the boat, and you know, it was a true monster. It was close to 2,000 pounds, and hey, you know, what a day, great days indeed. There's so many, there really is so many in there, but I think possibly the one which springs to mind would be the Northern Lights in Norway. Especially the way it happened, because the first time I went to Norway, there was the Northern Lights, but they were quite a poor example of the Northern Lights, and I was a little bit disappointed. And I thought, if those are the Northern Lights, you know, I can't imagine why you would travel up here to see that. So I was pretty disappointed. But the next year I went, which was in the February, the sky was as clear as hell, and I was with an East German guy, and he said, "Des, come out and look. The Northern Lights are magnificent tonight." And we took photos of them. The photo in the book is not a photo of mine. It was what I was looking at, but the East German had incredible photography gear with him. He took photos of it, and then I realised that the Northern Lights is an incredible sight, one of the great sights on this planet. It really was. It was as near to get when you know when you're a kid and you got this kaleidoscope, you know, and you turn it round. It was literally like that, you know, changing by the minute. And when you went, God, that's fantastic, 5 minutes later you were saying it was fantastic again in a different way. It really is a phenomenal sight. It really is.